Hello and welcome to the Manifestation Podcast with Peggy McColl. Peggy is a world-renowned wealth, business, and manifestation expert, as well as the best-selling author of the brand new book, The Demand Principle. Are you ready to manifest your dreams? Tune in now. Welcome, everyone. This episode of the Manifestation Podcast is taken from a live stream where Peggy shares tips on how to boost confidence and increase self-esteem. Enjoy.
It is Peggy McColl, and I want to welcome you to a special session that we're going to do today. The intention of this time that we're having this session together today, the intention is to give you some guidance on how to build a very strong self-esteem, how to feel confident about yourself, like really feeling good about who you are. What I've found and what many other the teachers that have come before us have found is that when you feel really good about who you are, when you feel confident about yourself, that you will produce consistently better and better and better results. So if you would love to experience better results, or you would love to manifest your goals, the better you feel about yourself, the better it's going to go. So welcome, Pamela. Hi, Dorothy. Good to see you here. Looks like we've got a lot of folks that are joining us on Instagram as well. Tammy is here. Good to see you, Tammy. It's been a while. And whether you're here watching this live, because what we do when we do these live events is we do record them, we do post them, is I want to give you some guidelines that you can also follow along with or implement after we get off this call together. So hi, Deanna, good to see you here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you these guidelines through this 30-minute. Hi, Amy. Nice to see you as well. Through this 30-minute time that we have together, I'll give you these guidelines, but also, hey, Pregason, good to see you as well. Giselle is here. Wonderful. Francesca, thank you. Welcome, welcome. But I'm also going to address some questions that have been asked. So before I get to the questions, though, because we've had 3 questions that were submitted in advance, and I'll answer those in a moment, I do want to talk about self-esteem and confidence and what it really is and why it's so essential that it is something that when we work on, that it can consistently produce better and better results. So one of the things that I found as a very simple process, and if you know anything about me, you know that I'm totally into simplicity. And I also believe that manifesting anything that you want in your life, like really living a fulfilled dream kind of life, is simple. But what happens is we think it's more complicated, or we don't even understand that it's simple, or don't believe that it's simple. We get in our own way. So I'm really here to help you get out of your own way. My desire is to give you more suggestions that can help you get better and better and better at whatever it is that you're doing, because that's what we're designed for, is to get better and better and better, and to produce better results, and to live in a more fulfillment or for a more fulfilled life in a fulfilled kind of way. And so I have worked with many people that have had self-esteem issues, and their self-esteem would manifest, or low self-esteem would manifest in many ways. It would manifest in destructive behavior, drinking, drugs, abusive kind of behavior. And that is always a sure sign of somebody who is insecure, is when someone is being abusive, either abusive to themselves or abusive to others, or perhaps even both. And very likely it's going to be both, because people that are insecure have a tendency to do that, to be abusive. Not that they want to, and very likely they know in their heart that it's not the right thing to do. It's not the way you want to be, but they do it because they're insecure, because they're afraid, because they're whatever, they're just living in a very challenging place. And so it's not that we have to spend, years and years and years analyzing that, like analyzing why we are the way that we are. What's important is to make decisions on what is it that we'd like to produce now going forward in our life. That's what we're going to focus on. So regardless of what's happened in the past, whether you've had that experience of feeling insecure, feeling like you had no will to live, and I was there. I was absolutely there. Feeling that insecurity, feeling that lack of fulfillment, that sense of struggle, continual struggle. It's not a wonderful place to live. It's very emotionally painful. And this is also something that we don't see necessarily physically, the wounds that we've made on ourselves by being abusive, or we don't physically see the wounds that may have caused other people as well from our abusive behavior. But yet it always reveals itself. And what do I mean by it always reveals itself? Low self-esteem will always be revealed in a way, in some way. And it could be the way you look, your physical appearance. It could be in your results. It could be in your relationships. It could be in your bank account. It could be in your career. It could be in your health. It'll appear in many, many different ways. And so it's such an important idea or concept to work on, this idea of confidence, because it's going to help you in every area of your life. It'll help you in your relationships. It'll help you in your career. It'll help you with your health. It'll help you with how you feel. It'll help you with your bank account. All of that. You know, one of the things that I'm very blessed for in my life is my husband, Denis. And for those of you that have been around me for a while, you've definitely heard me talk about my husband, Denis. And I only talk about Denis in a very positive light because he is a wonderful man. And I've said it on occasion, I've said it over and over again, that I feel as if I won the lottery of love by attracting him into my life. And I know the only reason why I attracted Denis into my life is because I became healthy first in my mind and in my heart and how I felt about me. And then I attracted him into my life. So I remember back in the early 1980s when I went to see my good friend and mentor, Bob Proctor, at his office. So this is probably around 1981. And I went to see Bob in his office, and I'd said to Bob that I wanted to attract someone into my life, a relationship. And he said, well, what would you like that person to be like? And I thought about it for a minute, and then I defined what I thought that person should be like, or I would like them to be. So it was things like, I would love them to be fun. I'd love them to be happy. I'd love them to be respectful. I'd love them to be a committed individual who's committed to our relationship. I would love them to value family. And so I just rhymed off this list of the characteristics that I believed would be really important for my partner. And Bob listened, sat back and listened, as he often does in his wonderful style. And he waited until I finished, and he just sat back and he contemplated that for a moment. And he said, I want to ask you a question. He said, are you like that? And I knew exactly what he meant. And the idea behind that is that if you want to attract someone into your life, and you want that person to be somebody who is confident, fun, a joy to be with, who is inspired, who is passionate, who is, all these things, respectful, loyal, honest, authentic, then you must be that. And when you are those things, then you will attract that person into your life. And even as I say those words like authentic and honest, those two characteristics, they're very similar, but they will contribute to you feeling good about yourself. And so you want to be somebody who is going to define. So where do you start? I would suggest that you start by defining, what is that person like that you would love to be like? What would that be like? And you may use another person as a model, like somebody else that you've seen, somebody else that you've observed who's a very confident person. And you can tell, as I was starting this call today, I was thinking about Ellen DeGeneres. And of course, she has her show, The Ellen Show, which is a phenomenal show. And I really love her as a person and for what she does in the world. And she often will complete her show by saying, be kind to one another. And I love that idea, being kind to one another. And quite often people who are kind are also confident people, but not always. Sometimes people use kindness as a sort of as a crutch because they aren't feeling good about themselves. But the reason why I mentioned Ellen is that Ellen is a model of confidence. And I don't know Ellen personally, but from what I observe, from what I've seen of her, from what I've read about her, from early videos that I saw of her, she used to do stand-up comic and all of that. And there was a movie about her that was released. I believe it was on Netflix, if my memory serves me correctly. And it was talking about her life, but she's a woman who looks and appears to be very confident in herself. And so part of building our confidence can also come down to defining the kind of person that we wanted to be, and then acting as if we are that person, like walking around, like not arrogant or egotistical, like we've got some chip on our shoulder that we're better than anyone else, because we're not, but just feeling really good about who we are, feeling relaxed. Because when you're confident, you will feel relaxed. So for those of you that would love to increase your level of confidence, and I believe this is something everyone should be working on, what I suggest that you do is I'm going to give you the process for building your confidence here. One is to decide on what you would love to experience in your life, because confidence is going to play a role in that. So decide on the kind of life that you would love to live, then determine who do you need to be in order to live that kind of life, and describe that. And that can become part of either a statement about who you are. It could be like an identity statement. It could be something that you declare and you repeat over and over again, as if it's already here right now. I am a very confident person. I love myself. And loving yourself, again, is not an arrogant thing. It's not an egotistical thing. It's a wonderful thing, because when you are loving yourself, you're better equipped to love another. Let me repeat that. When you are loving yourself, you are better equipped to love another. So the more we're working on loving ourselves, the more we're going to attract this kind of person into our life. So when I think about Denis, I'd mentioned my husband. When I had decided a number of years ago that it was time for me to attract that wonderful person in my life, I thought back to the conversation that I had with Bob Proctor many years ago, where Bob had asked me, he said, so what is that person like? And so I thought about, well, what would I love to be experiencing in my relationship today? And I determined what that would be like, what it would feel like, which is more important. And then I decided, okay, this is what that person's going to be like. They're going to be someone of integrity, someone who's confident in who he is, because I know what it's like to be around people who are insecure. It's not fun. It's not a lot of fun for anyone. So the more you can build your own confidence, the better you're going to feel. And then I just started to imagine what it would feel like to be in that relationship. And then I attract Denny in my life. And I'm so grateful for him. I appreciate him. One time we were doing, we're just having a conversation, Denny and I asked him, I said, honey, I have a question for you. I said, what is it that you love most about me? And I was curious, because someone had asked me that question. What does your husband love most about you? And it's like, I don't know. And so I thought, I'll ask Denny, what is it that you love most about me? And he sat back and he thought about it. And Denny's a very analytical thinker. So he's not someone to respond just like that. So he's thinking about it and thinking about it. And then he said, well, what I love most about you is how much you appreciate me. And I thought, wow. I thought he was going to say he loved my sense of humor, or he loves my drive, or he loves my, I don't know, whatever, something along those lines. And he said that what he loved most about me is how much I appreciate him. And I believe that appreciation and being in a constant state of gratitude will also improve your confidence. You see, the better we feel in life, it's kind of like there's an invisible string that runs through all of our emotions. So if we think about our emotions like happiness, faith, love, confidence, worthiness, all of these different emotions, we think about those. When we raise up the bar on any of them, it automatically raises our other areas. So if we're feeling more loving and we're being more loving and we're feeling like we're just really giving and expressing love in every area, well, that is going to cause us to feel better about who we are. So that is something that you can do. Now, another thing that I've done in the past, two other things I want to talk about in a moment. Thanks, Alicia, that I want to talk about. And then I'm going to get to some questions and answer them today. There's two other things that I've done that have helped with my feeling good about who I am, confidence, because that was really the topic of today. We're going to do another one of these live events in a couple days, I believe at 4:00 in the afternoon. And we're going to focus on earning money. So that's the next topic that we're doing. Today is about confidence. So two things that I did was I created something called an identity board. And I don't have it here with me. I'm in Florida right now. And it's something you can do with your kids. Alicia, you might want to do this with your kids before. And I'm sure you've heard me talk about it in other programs because Alicia's been with me for a number of years. And so an identity board it's like a Bristol board, a giant piece of a cardboard kind of thing, a Bristol board that you can get at any of the Office Depot stores. And what I did was I got a couple of them. I went to the store and got a couple of these. I put my picture in the middle and I said, who is this woman anyway? And then I just wrote out all these words: courageous, determined, kind, appreciative, grateful, successful, loved, loving. And I just wrote all these humorous and playful, fun. I think I said those already. And I wrote all these words and put them all around my picture. And I printed them in different color font, and I cut them out and I put them on this Bristol board, and I put it right beside my bed. So the first thing that I'd see when I woke up in the morning was my identity board that said, who is this woman anyway? So it was a wonderful reminder to be those things, to be that woman, to be that person. And when it's in front of your face, you'll tend to see it more and more and more and more and more. Thank you, Amy. You'll see it more and more often. And then at nighttime, when I'd go to bed, I would intentionally stare at it and be one with my identity board, just saying, is this who I was today? Is this who I was today? And if I wasn't, if I was acting like an idiot or whatever during the day, it's like, it is what it is. And that's another thing that actually helps with your confidence. If you found that in the past, you've done some things that weren't, I don't know, the smartest thing or the brightest decision, let it go. It's in the past. Learn from it. What can you harvest the good from the experience, learn from it, and move forward. Because there's not a lot you can do about what happened yesterday or in the past, but you can choose to feel differently about it. The second thing that I did to help build my own confidence and self-esteem is I recorded not necessarily a self-confidence formula, but a self-confidence statement. Like, I love myself. I really appreciate who I am. I feel good about myself. And I wasn't saying things about my characteristics of my physical body or anything, just talk about how I felt. Like, I feel good. I feel really good about my life. I feel good about life in general. I feel good about myself. I'm confident in who I am. I love myself. I appreciate myself. I love others. And that was something that I would listen to over and over and over again. It is now part of my Power Life script because I know how important it is to have it included in there. So now it's a part of my Power Life script. So those are the things. Now, they're not major things. I remember one time working with a client who's a private mentoring client of mine, and we were talking about that was one of the issues that she wanted to work on was her confidence, her self-esteem. And I was giving her some suggestions for how she could do it. Another way to increase your self-confidence is by taking action, by doing things. That'll increase your self-confidence. Another way to increase your self-confidence is by treating others the way you would want to be treated. Another way to build your self-confidence is by following through with what you say you're going to do. That's a big one, like being a person of your word. So if you said, hey, I'm going to send you that book, you send the book. If you say, I'm going to be at your place tomorrow morning at 9:00 to pick you up, you be at that person's place at 5 to 9, not 9:00, early, a little bit early. If you say you're going to send them something via email, that you send it via email. And if you didn't do what you said you were going to do, apologize, right? These are all simple things. But that's what a confident person would be. Like when I look at my husband and how confident he is, like Denny is a very confident guy. And one of the blessings of being married to a wonderful, confident person is that there's no stuff, right? I'm not having to deal with emotions or, emotions, yes, but I mean, really challenging emotions. He's so easygoing. And I really love that. I love that about him as well as many other things. So there's a lot of different things that you can do, little things to build your self-confidence, but it really comes down to how are you feeling about who you are? And if you've done things in the past that haven't been, nice to other people, then just start now. Do things now that can be kind to other people as well. Thank you. All right. Good to see you guys here. Hey, Micheline. Thank you. Micheline says you should feel good. You've worked so hard to get to where you are. You're wonderful. And so are you. You're such a wonderful person and such a great friend. I really appreciate you. All right. So let me go to the questions. We've got a number of questions that came in and I want to address these. These are not necessarily questions that are related to self-esteem, but nonetheless, they're wonderful questions. I definitely want to cover them. So the first one is from, I'm not sure what the name is, but it looks like Obed Perez. And I hope I'm saying the name properly. And if not, I apologize. So here's the first question. Oh, great. Amy, I'm going to get to your question. Amy Nicholas is asking, what would you say self-esteem has to do with money? I'm going to talk about that in a moment. Thank you for asking. So I'm going to address these three questions and I'm going to come back to your question. Celine, don't let me forget Amy's question. It's such a great one. Okay, so the question is, hi, Peggy, here's my question. I'm studying dentistry and have to get my own patients for school. Sometimes it seems hard to get the right people. How can I attract the perfect clients? Okay, so number one is to stop saying it's hard. Number one, because if you think it is, it is. If you think it's not, it's not. If you say it's easy to get clients, and I would think it would be easy to get clients, because if you're getting clients at your dentistry school, it means they don't have to pay for dentist work and it's saving them money. So it's good for them, good for you as well. I would just start asking people. You're on social media, obviously. I would start asking people through social media. Let them know where you're located and that you're available to take on some clients. All right. So that's what I would suggest with that. And see it as being easy. See the outcome as you desire. See the number of clients that you have or the number of patients that you have. See it in advance. Okay. Elisa Brown says, thank you, Peggy, for all you do. It's helping me immensely. Can you please talk about how to live abundantly? For example, wanting to renovate the kitchen that is not that old while being mindful of the planet and being conscious of wastefulness. Waste not, want not was ingrained into me as a child. Thank you. Yeah, me too. I totally get that. Okay, so what you can do is just repurpose it. So we were recently at a friend's house and their kitchen, it was a new kitchen that they had. And I said, oh, I really like your kitchen. And they said that they did the entire kitchen for, I don't know, something like $1,000. And it was like, whoa, these are like oak cabinets. How were you able to do your kitchen for $1,000? And they said that they had renovated, or a friend of theirs was renovating their kitchen and they were throwing out the cupboards, kind of like what you're talking about here. They're not that bad, but they just wanted a new kitchen. So rather than throwing them out, they said, could we take them and repurpose them? So they repurposed them and put them in their kitchen. So their kitchen looks great. Another thing that you can do is there's a number of places online, especially on Facebook community groups, where you could go on there and just say, I know I'm giving away these cabinets, and they could be used in a garage. They could be used in someone's basement. They could be used in a shed. They could be used in someone's kitchen. And if someone wants to use them, I'm certain there's somebody who would love to have them. And that would be a very, kind thing to do, is to give them away to someone else. So that's what I would recommend. Find someone that you can give them to. And I understand about the waste not, want not. It really comes down to just looking at it a little differently. And there was a quote by Wayne Dyer that says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And so in this particular case, I think it's more of a perception thing. And I was raised in the same area or the same idea. And so I would just post online at one of these community groups that you have these cabinets available, give them away. And then you'll be able to build your new kitchen. Okay. Vladimir is asking the question, how can I be unconditionally self-confident, to have a strong, extreme, humble, grateful, divine self-confidence that is constant and depends on nothing or no one? I would declare it. Just declare it and start to believe it. Like, declare it and say it over and over again. We recently released this product called Mini Power Scripts. And Mini Power Scripts are literally these little small statements that I repeat over and over and over again. And so they're about a minute long, but you could repeat them when you're listening to them as well. So it'd be something like, you are a confident person. You love yourself. You appreciate yourself. And then it goes on. You are a confident person. You love yourself. You appreciate yourself. And the reason behind that is this is exactly precisely the way to change your belief systems, is through space-time repetition of another idea that's going to support what it is that you want. So Vladimir, you've written here, to have a strong, just change the words there. I am a strong, extreme, humble, grateful, divine, self-confident person who, feels really good about who I am. And then you repeat that over and over again. And one of the best things you can do is do that affirmation looking in the mirror. And I remember back in the 80s when I first started studying Louise Hay, and Louise Hay would talk about mirror work. And one of the things that Louise Hay recommended that you do in front of the mirror is you look in the mirror and you look at yourself eye to eye and you just say, I love you. I love you. I love you. And I remember when I first learned about that exercise and I thought, wow, that's a little bizarre. And so I came back home and I looked in the mirror and I love you. It felt very weird, very uncomfortable. And so and of course it might feel uncomfortable in the beginning, but over time it didn't feel uncomfortable anymore. It felt great. So do that, create an affirmation that you can say, do it in the mirror, do it every day. Do it in the morning if you want, do it at night. The best time to do it is in the morning and at night, especially when you go to bed, and or get one of the mini power scripts and listen to the ones that I've created as well. You can see those at minipowerscripts.com. Okay, Amy says, how would you say self-confidence has to do with money? I think it has everything to do with the money, everything to do with money. And the reason for that is because your earnings, not always, but the majority of the time, are tied to how you feel about yourself. Well, how you feel about yourself is your confidence. And so when we think about confidence, it's also tied to what you think you're worth. What is your worth? What value are you bringing to the world? Well, if you're a confident person, you know you have great value that you're bringing to the world, right? And when we look at people that are very successful in whatever field that they're in, they are typically, not all, but most of the time, they're very confident people. And I'm going to share a story with you. Back in 1999, I was a vice president of a .com company, and we had offices all over the world. And part of my role as vice president of corporate development of this .com company was that I had created a goal system for this organization. And the goal system I called COGS, Corporate Outcome Goal System. And I had actually had software designed where we could enter in what the deliverables were for every employee, which was tracked to the higher end deliverables for the executives. And so that anyone in the corporation could see what everyone was working on. And we could also, it gave everyone clarity on how their role was contributing to the overall success of the company. So it provided this visibility within the company for everyone to honor and respect what we are all doing, each individual, and to see how we're all contributing, for each employee to have an understanding of what their role was and what they were responsible for. And what I did was I tied a compensation plan to the outcome goal system. And therefore, you had a salary, and then every employee, including the receptionist, had an opportunity to earn more money, to earn a bonus. We called them bonuses, and they were based on performance. Now, if you were performing at level of expected, you got your salary. But for those that went a little bit above and beyond, they got a little bit more. And those that went a lot above and beyond, they got a lot more. And what was interesting, when we implemented this new system, this new compensation plan, my thinking was, the employees should just lap this up. They should be loving this. And the reason why I felt they would be loving it is because it gave them an opportunity to earn more money based on work that they were doing. Because previously, if you had a half a dozen people in the company that were really doing well and kicking butt and contributing way above and beyond what they were supposed to, they wouldn't be compensated any other way. So I thought, well, this gives everyone an opportunity to go above and beyond. So we got to a point where we estimated these bonuses every quarter. So we got to the end of the quarter, and of course, all the reports were constantly submitted. So it was easy to see, if anyone had overachieved or underachieved or wherever they were. And it was great. The managers, the directors, the VPs, they loved it. And so we got to the end of the quarter, and we realized there was only a few, like a handful of bonuses to be paid out, and out of hundreds of employees. And so I was flying to London, England with the president of the company. We're going to a meeting over there, and we're on the plane, and I was looking at the reports. I had a spreadsheet, and I was looking at the reports on who had earned bonuses. And I was really kind of surprised that not more people had earned more money. And I turned to the president and the CEO, and I said to him, I said, why do you think that is? Everyone had the opportunity to earn more. And it's just like life. Everyone has an opportunity to earn more. Why are more people not doing it? And he said, his answer was one word. And it was an answer like that. He didn't have to think about it. He didn't have to analyze it. He knew exactly what the answer was. And his answer was the following. He said, confidence. That's the reason why people are shining and earning more in the world, is because they're confident. So it has everything to do with your earning, with how much money you're earning. So if you've been working on it and you're not yet seeing the result of it, well, there might be, maybe a little bit of refinement, or just maybe a period of time before you'll start to see the evidence of it in physical form. It's like Bob Proctor will often say that when anyone is ever considering working for his company, he asks them this question. He says, what's the most amount of money you've ever earned in your life? And they'll give them a number. Let's say the most amount of money that they've ever earned is $100,000. And he said, I don't ask them because I'm nosy, because I want to know what they've earned. He says, I'm asking them that question because I want to know what they think they are worth. Right? So Amy, that's really what it is. What do you think you're worth? So what you're earning is what you think you're worth. And if you're not currently earning what you think you're worth, well, you will be when you get a hold of that idea and own it as your own. And again, none of this confidence issue has anything to do with arrogance or egotistical. And quite often confidence is shown as a quiet confidence, as someone who is they appear strong, steady, relaxed. Okay, a bunch more questions have come in. Thank you, Celine, for posting them all in our little chat box here. So the next question that has come in is a question from Sabby. That's a nice name. I like that. Okay, so Sabby says, hi, Peggy. Can you help me imagine my kids losing weight? They're quite heavy. I can't align. Okay, great. Well, it's interesting that you asked that question, because people often ask me about when they're doing their Power Life script, if they should include their kids or their spouse or other people in their life, their boss or whatever. It's like, yes. Can you have an influence over them? To some degree, it's still energy and motion, but they have to want to do it. So your kids have to want to release the weight. Your kids have to want to be at their ideal weight. And so you can give them some guidance, tell them how much they're loved, or perhaps help them with some suggestions and a better eating plan or some exercise or whatever, but they really have to want it. And if they don't want it, it's not going to happen. So in order to get them to want it is by just asking them, is this something that they want? And if so, well, why? And the why is often the big driver. That's the leverage that people have on themselves, is when they say, well, the reason why is because I just want to have more energy for doing the things that I love to do, or I want to feel better about who I am, or I want to look better, or whatever it is. Get them to the point of sharing with you what their why is. And I know that'll make a big difference as well. And then let them know you're there to help them and support them in any way that you can. One of the URLs that I own, URL's a web address, and I have close to 700 of them. One of the ones that I own is a URL that goes like this: See Thin, Be Thin. See Thin, Be Thin. Now, if you type that in, it'll probably just take you to the front page of my website. But the idea behind it is based on how you see yourself is how you're going to show up in the world, right? And so if they have photos of themselves being slimmer than, or in their ideal weight, they can put those on mirrors or on the refrigerator or whatever. Or if they, there's a particular size or not shape, but weight that they're looking to be at. And I've done this myself as well. You can take magazines and cut out the photo of the body and put your head on it. Take a photo of yourself and put your head on that body. I remember back in, oh my goodness, this was probably the late 80s. And there was a catalog that I used to get back then called Victoria's Secret. And you're probably aware of it. Many of you, I'm sure, are aware of it. And it's mostly lingerie. They have clothing as well, and nightwear and things like that. And I remember cutting out a photo for my vision board of one of their models, and I put my head on her body. And I remember seeing that every day on my vision board, my identity board. I mean, my house was just covered with all this stuff. And so I'd see myself with my head on top of this slim hot looking body. So the idea behind see thin, be thin is that you see yourself in your mind's eye the way you want to be. So even when you're standing in front of the mirror and you're not the size that you want to be, or you're not the shape, you can actually just like even touch your body and go like, wow, like I love how slim I am. I love how I'm in such great shape. And you see it as you want it to be. And that's the same thing for manifesting anything in your life. It's like Neville Goddard says, deny the evidence of the senses. Same thing with the physical body. You don't see yourself as that overweight person or as the person that's not in the shape that you like to be. You see yourself as you want to be and deny the evidence of the senses. So you don't get on the scale. I remember one time, Sandy Gallagher talking about Proctor about this weight issue. And she said something about getting on the scale. Bob says, why would you bother getting on the scale? Just see yourself at your ideal weight. And she's like, oh my God, yes, of course. And what I've seen a number of other people do is they'll take like their ideal weight. So whatever that number is, you write your ideal weight on a little piece of paper and tape it to your scale. So when you get on the scale, what you see is the weight that you would love to be seeing, not the weight that's actually there. But you impress that upon your subconscious mind until it becomes real. So that's how you would see thin, be thin. I've been thinking about doing a program on that, and I just may. I love that. Okay, great. All right, the next question is from Karen. Karen says, I added a specifically hugely large Angus income. What is that? Angus income that feels comfortable. Can you help me refine my goal, or do you think it's more than I need to work on my belief system? And here's the goal that Karen has placed here. I'm so happy and grateful now that I am a neonatal research scientist easily earning $1 million in personal annual income, doing what I love and improving the lives of infants and their families. I love it. It's perfect. Perfect. It's great. Does it feel good to you? Excellent. So I really like it. Now, the thing is, income. Is that what that's supposed to be? Oh, thanks, Celine. She says income. Oh, darn it. Okay, what happened here? Hang on, guys. I'm on Instagram and I just lost my page. There we are. We're back. Yay. Okay, good. So large annual income. Oh, okay. That word is annual. The G is where the A is supposed to be. That's what that was. Annual income. Okay, great. Thanks. Now, you don't have to, like, if you want to be earning $1 million in annual personal income, and this is something that, this may be fine. It may be perfectly fine the way it is. But you don't always have to tell the universe where the money's going to come from. So you can say, I'm happy and grateful now that I'm doing work that I love, easily earning over $1 million or $1 million in personal annual income, doing what I love and improving the lives of others. And it may be a neonatal research scientist. It might be something else, maybe in the field. It might be a little bit different. And that gives the universe a little more playroom, right? Wiggle room, if you will, to produce the exact outcome for that. Or you could be easily earning that kind of money doing exactly what you want to do because you know that's exactly what you want to do, but yet you're also earning money from investments or other things. So there's many different ways to earn money. We're going to talk about earning money in our next Facebook Live event. Now, we normally do these Facebook Live events for about 30 minutes. We've gone about 37 now. I'm going to keep going for the next little while because there's still a few more questions here that I definitely want to address before we wrap up. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more questions. So I'm going to address those first before we wrap up. Okay, so Denise says, you talk about using goal cards in Power Life Script and that your Power Life Script is 30 minutes. I'm assuming yours contains everything you are grateful for and want to accomplish. Do you use goal cards for a specific income goal? So first of all, my Power Life Script is not everything I want to accomplish. It's written as if I've already accomplished it. Just want to make that distinction. I know you know what it means, but just for everyone else that's listening. So a Power Life Script is I'm already living that life. It's now. It's already here right now. And yes, of course, it's things that I love and desire to experience, but I write my Power Life Script as if it's already done and I'm experiencing it right now. Now, the question that Denise is asking, which is a great question, is do you use goal cards for your specific income goal? Absolutely. That is exactly what's on my goal card. My goal card is in my phone case, which is what's allowing us to be on Instagram right now. So yes, I use my goal card for an income goal. Does it have to be for an income goal? And that's not Denise's question, but I just want to put this forth for you. No, it does not have to be for an income goal. You could have a goal card for anything, any goal, or a home as well. Thank you, Celine. She put the powerlifescript.com link in there for everyone to access. I appreciate you. All right. The next question is Ismail. How do we change the paradigm and how long does it take to results? We change the paradigm through space-time repetition of a new idea. And that's what a Power Life script will do. And that's also what mini power scripts will do. How long does it take? Don't know. No one knows. Nobody knows. It's going to take as long as it takes. And the more work you do on it, the more effective you are at it, the better it's going to go. And what I mean by that is you want to be not only, listening to your Power Life script or doing these affirmations over and over again, you want to be believing it. You got to believe it. And you get to a point of believing it through the repetition of hearing it over and over and over again. Whether you're hearing it, writing it, saying it, whatever you're doing, that's the method of changing it. So, darn, it's going to take some time. It definitely is going to take some time. All right. Next question. Okay, great. Thank you. Ismail said that I heard Bob Proctor say a couple times that if we work with the law and creative process, we're going to get whatever we are going after. What law is he referring to and how can we work with that law? In your opinion, what is the secret in Think and Grow Rich? Awesome. I love your questions. Thank you. So what laws Bob Proctor is talking about are the laws of the universe, the universal laws. Where'd my glasses go? Hang on, guys. Just dropped my glasses. So it's the universal laws. It's like the law of attraction, the law of vibration, the law of cause and effect, the law of polarity, the law of perpetual transmutation, the law of, what am I missing here? There's all kinds, gestation. There's so many different laws. So laws of the universe. One of the books that Bob has studied, and it's not one of my favorite books, by the way, but I'm going to mention it because he's been talking about this book for the 40 years that I've been studying him, is a book by Raymond Hollowell called Working with the Law. Working with the Law. That's a book that really talks about it. But honestly, what I suggest, Ismail, is go online, go to YouTube, and type in Bob Proctor, Laws of the Universe, and see what you can find. There's all kinds of videos out there of Bob talking about the laws of the universe. And I would go there and I'd study them. I mean, he's always talking about the laws of the universe. And so that's what I would suggest. The next question Ismail is saying is, what do I believe, in my opinion, is the secret in Think and Grow Rich? I love that you're asking me that question. And it's interesting because if anyone has ever read Think and Grow Rich, it says right in the beginning of the book, Think and Grow Rich, that there is a secret in here that when you discover it, it's going to unlock everything, all the gold in the world kind of thing. That's not what he says, but that's the idea behind it. It's like the secret to everything that you ever desire. And I believe, in my opinion, what I believe that secret is having a burning desire. That's what I think it is. Now, you could probably ask a dozen people, and you may get some others saying it's a burning desire. You might get some others saying it's something else. And I think that it's left that way on purpose for people to figure it out for themselves what they think it is. And I really believe it's burning desire. And I've talked to a number of other people, some of my peers and other folks that have business partners and things like that. And they've said the same thing. They believe that's what it is. And so burning desire. Wonderful to be back with you guys, to be here to serve you. Really appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for the opportunity. And I wish you a wonderful day. All right. See you soon, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks for tuning in to the Manifestation Podcast with Peggy McColl. Take your learning deeper by signing up for the free morning manifestation videos at morningmanifestation.com. And follow Peggy on all social media channels for daily updates. See you again.
To get my latest book, The Demand Principle, and to obtain all of the special bonus gifts, you can go right now to thedemandprinciple.com. Again, that URL is thedemandprinciple.com.